Let me go to Faheem Sardar Saab. Your take on this entire vision. On one side, we are talking about Prime Minister telling us that they are not going to jack up the prices of electricity or gas for that matter. On the other side, there is a windfall. There seems to be a windfall. International prices are going down. Do you think that it will positively impact our economy, or that given that the overall coronavirus mishmash, we are also ill prepared and it might actually do the same thing to us?
I think that's a very heavy question. I'll try to deconstruct the question first.
Yeah.
Whenever costs go down, your economy tends to move up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for Pakistan, fossil fuels are the biggest import, and if Pakistan can sort of save some money, according to the numbers that we're hearing, and let's see how long the prices stay this low. If the price of a barrel of crude goes from $35 to $40, I think that's a safe range.
Yeah.
I think Pakistan will be saving approximately $5 to $7 billion per year.
Okay.
Yeah, at the free market rate. Now, having said that, so that's a saving, that's a cushion for the government,
right.
a good cushion for Pakistan's fiscal situation.
But does that actually change the cost of LNG that we have already agreed to, the prices that we have agreed to?
I think Dr. Saab can give a better answer, because I think it's indexed to the crude price, if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
But coming to the larger and micro impacts, I'll just try to expand on that. Right now, Pakistan desperately needs for costs to go down.
Okay.
So if costs go down, that's a fiscal space that has to be used wisely.
Okay.
One has to be extremely careful, and I would like to caution myself first that we can't expect prices to stay down forever, because Saudi Arabia has a deficit, by the way.
Right.
Russia has given a very strange statement, which is tantamount to a price war.
Right.
Having said that,
they are going to talk as well. They are going to actually.
We talk after there is a fist fight. That's what's going to happen. OPEC Plus is virtually broken. OPEC is now shaky. $25 a barrel, $30 a barrel is something that we experienced in which year? 2013.
Right.
So once again, we have that opportunity. But internationally, you see, let me be very clear here.
Yeah, but hold that thought and come back to what you were saying earlier, macro picture.
Sure. So the point is, if Pakistan's costs go down, and suddenly Pakistan's, let's say, interest rates, which are expected to go down as well.
Are you sure about that?
They have to, because my organization has been, like many other organizations, we've been saying for a year and a half that interest rates have to go.
I've been writing the column such, but I don't know whether
it has to come down. There's no other. It's one way only.
Okay.
So costs are going to come down. Now, what does a businessman do? A businessman, as soon as costs come down, in order to raise their sales, they would also start adjusting their price.
Okay.
What that does is, when price goes down, the demand starts to rise, consumption starts to increase, your velocity of money starts to increase, your consumption paradigms start to become normal. Right now they're abnormal.
Yeah, but once again we have jumped to the interest rate. Yeah, let us talk about oil prices first.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, and how they translate into relief for the people.
Sure. It's a very simple thing. Pakistan is an oil importer, not exporter.
Right.
So right now that's good for us. It was bad for us for almost 7-8 years. Right now it's good for us.
Right.
If we are importing oil, it's going to be every barrel that we buy, we're going to be technically saving money.
Right.
So that will eventually trickle down to some degree.
Right.
To a greater degree, I'm not sure.
Okay.
As soon as the government stabilizes its fiscal situation even more, you will see a greater relief for the common man. And number two, something very critical for us, which I'll try to conclude on, projects. The government will suddenly have some funds to take care of projects, which have multiplier effects.
Right. That is very constructive and very imaginative assessment of the situation, but there are two bottlenecks, right?
Sure.
And they have been pointed out. One, our already existing agreements on electricity as well as LNG. That is a big problem, right? And then what we are importing, what exactly is our fuel mix? I'll ask Faheem Sardar to actually step in here, because it doesn't take a lot of money to invest in imagination, right? That is essentially R&D. Do you agree with me, or do you agree with our Mohammed Ahmed Sahib?
I would have to, I think, say that as Mohammed Ahmed Saab said, that there are various products that can be exported. I have to just dilate on one point here. I just want to add. When we talk about exports, you see, we're not talking about immediately high-end, high-tech, synthetics or technology that nobody's seen before. That's not important.
What do you
right
mean
now.
by immediate? Are you talking about tomorrow or next 5 years?
We're conflating 2-3 things.
No, but you have used a term, just actually dilate upon that. You said immediately start doing this or that.
Yeah.
What is your definition of immediately?
There are 2-3, I would categorize it in 3 different classes.
Right.
There's something slightly related to subsistence, then there's something slightly developed, and then there's something advanced.
Okay.
Let's keep it simple.
Okay.
When we export something, when we want to export something, it's going to be one of these 3.
Right.
In Pakistan, what I've noticed is whenever we talk about exports, that conflates the debate. We immediately jump to the high-end, high-tech product.
No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to come back to
you.
But I wanted the definition of time, because I tell you why. I've been hearing this thing, particularly automation and so many other technologies, for past 20 years. The IT bubble, the dot-com economy has been there for that much time. And everybody kept on telling me that immediately it won't happen. 20 years is fairly big time, right? A long time for the definition of immediately, is it not?
Well, I would agree and disagree at the same time, because the situation in Pakistan was hounded by a 13-year war, which nobody talks about, because we bring it in every debate. We are the only country that survived and won a 4th-generation war.
Right.
That is very expensive. Okay. We've done the calculation. We've done the hemorrhage calculations. Okay. The point I'm trying to make is, okay, let's get back to the export thing. If right now costs come down, as you said, if, for example, there's some kind of incentivization at some point, can our private sector export? The answer is yes.
What are the items that we can export?
Starting from very basic things like food, starting from very basic
food, food as in unprocessed commodities?
Both processed and unprocessed, both, because we have the capacity to do that. The only thing that we need to bear in mind is this is a scaling up aspect.
Absolutely, and I'm not arguing with that, but I want to hear items which might be newer than what we have been doing in the past 70 years.
Pakistan has been developing a lot of technology. We can a lot of industrial aspects that we can export. But you see, once again, we're jumping to the
what industrial export elements can we export?
So Pakistan exports products, parts for Airbus and Boeing. Nobody talks about that.
Right. Pakistan essentially has to be part of a supply chain then.
Let's start with the region first. You see, why do we have to jump to France and America and
I'm
Germany?
not jumping.
No,
my problem is I'm sitting next to a country that doesn't want to actually be included, India.
That's one part. That's one side.
And we are already part of CPEC.
We are next to China. We're next to Russia. We're next to Afghanistan. We're next to CAS. So there is a sizable market that we can tap as soon as we focus. I mean, I think it was very interesting and very rightly put that Bangladesh and Vietnam, they're going to increase their exports. The point
Bangladesh is now going to export mobile phones
because
to the US.
Because they have
which holds most of the patents.
They have a policy to push these things, and that's, I think, what we're all saying in slightly different ways, that the government has to have a push policy, that you have to start pushing your products out. With high interest rates...
How do you push governments? How do you push businessmen?
It's very easy. You just let them do it. Let them do it. Just
so you're not pushing, you're facilitating. What?
Push or facilitate, push or pull, however you want to look at it. What I'm trying to say is that when, for example, something that I think my esteemed colleagues have very politely not pointed out is, for example, taxation. The companies that are exporting in other countries, they have tax rebates, they have tax incentives. There is a reason textile has done well in Pakistan, because they have tax rebates. Give the same rebates to other exporting industries. Pakistan has a lot of potential. Yes, there are issues, there are structural issues which are causing hemorrhage.
Right,
They need
but
to be fixed.
but I understand that. My entire point is that it was highlighted that Pakistan imports oil, and then the government actually passes on the prices to the common people and the businesses, and businesses cannot export, right? My whole argument, and this has been a humongous concern, is that we keep on talking about these things without adding value to our own products. I mean, we can research. How much money does it take? I mean, terrorists don't go and start attacking
Can I just
research compounds.
Can I just add something here? I think that's a very pertinent point that you raised, and many businesses don't. But there are many businesses that have been doing research. They have been producing pharmaceutical products.
And they're not multinationals?
They're locals, which will become multinationals because they have been doing copyrights. They have been doing patents.
Okay.
Because I am
one great example of that should be, and here's a question. India has been minting this sector, generic medicines.
Yeah.
India actually, whenever after 10 years, patent actually goes awry, and they have to take some time. Indian companies go and start manufacturing them. Are we manufacturing any medicines?
I don't think we're focusing like that because it's already profitable enough to work the way we are. You do have a point, but at the end of the day, India also
I'm
produces.
just pointing out
Fair enough. But
endless possibilities, and we are not tapping into that.
But India also produces, and because now I have a habit of saying this on air, India also produces the highest number of fake drugs on earth,
Right.
which
So
accounts for.
can I take their positive model without actually importing their
Well,
negativities?
sir, let
Yes.
me intervene here, and let me just start by saying we should be target orientated.
Okay.
We should not.
The question is about our preparedness regarding SEZs, the special economic zones which are part of China-Pakistan economic corridor. We keep on talking about that, but I haven't seen any blueprints. What are we going to manufacture? What is the best idea to actually implement it?
I think it's a mixed story because we have. I've always said that break up CPEC into different components,
Right.
from the road to the different economic projects to the SEZs to the power projects to the hospitality aspects.
Yeah,
What
but
we're doing
you
is
realize I'm only talking about SEZs.
yeah, I know. What we do is we have typically put everything in one basket, and one accounts for all accounts for one. So that doesn't make any sense to me. When we talk about SEZs are supposed to be export oriented,
Okay.
production oriented. And yes, I have also not seen something particular like what Rashaka is going to be producing, what the SEZ near Karachi or Gwadar is going to be producing.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I think there's a bit of a planning thing that we need to revisit at some point.
And you actually work with the knowledge economy as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
As a businessman. So do you see your own part in that?
I do actually, because we stand to
I'm
gain.
talking about actually coming up with a plan, and the fact that we haven't been able to.
Actually, we are in our quarterly reviews like this.
Right at
We-
work next time.
We
I mean,
definitely
this
will.
is
What we're doing is what everyone I think in Pakistan is trying to do is we're trying to put the right piece in the right place. We have to understand something. You see, and I will two last points. Then please, someone else might want to add something. Please do not forget the 5,000 bombs that were blown up in Pakistan.
Absolutely.
They are the ones that stopped our R&D. They are the ones that
salute
stopped our
Pakistan's resilience and ability to fight back.
Number two.
But now then you have to talk about
Number two.
economy as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just last point, please, if you allow.
Yeah, very quickly, because
10 seconds.
he will be
10
left
seconds.
with hardly
Because
any time.
we've taken on a big, huge project in record time. It'll take time to readjust. Please.
Right.